What is up, folks? The Mavs won the game. I feel like I haven't said that in about 7 years, but the Mavs won the game. I'm sure everybody is pleased by that. I'm personally halfway pleased just because I don't have to see Mavs fans arguing with Hawks fans about Trae being better than Luka all over my timeline. And I pretty much stayed off the timeline anyway, so I'm sure some Mavs fans have been all over Hawks fans, but I don't intend to see that. Coming into today, I should say, my mood was pretty weak, knowing that Twitter was going to be crazy, but I just kind of stayed in my mentions instead of being on the timeline, and that kind of took care of that. I was worried about Capella killing us, but Rick came out with a interesting game plan and double teamed Trae in the backcourt before he could even bring the ball across half court, and it kind of took the Hawks out of a real rhythm. Mavs took a quick 9-point lead early in the first, but other Hawks guys stepped up and they kept it close. It was a 3-point game at the half. Hawks up. Game stayed close through the third quarter. And Luka came out, instead of playing the full third quarter, Luka came out with about a minute and a half left in the quarter, which let me know that he was probably going to come in earlier in the fourth, so then it just came down to when would he come in. It didn't matter at the time because the other guys kind of stepped up with Luka out, and he came back in around 9:30 in the fourth quarter, and the Mavs went up by as much as 15 with 3 minutes and 47 seconds left. And that's when everything started to fall apart. So, with 3:47 left, the Mavs were up 15. The Hawks cut it down to 10 by the 2:58 mark. Rick took KP out for Maxey at that point. Not sure exactly why, but he did. We traded baskets back and forth, but the lead was cut down to 8 officially by the 1:57 mark. So now, about 2 minutes have passed, a little bit less than 2 minutes, and a 15-point lead has now been cut down to 8 with just under 2 minutes left. Again, traded baskets, and they got the lead down to 6 with about 50 seconds left. Ball gets passed in to THJ, who proceeds to turn the ball over. And then Trae hits a deep 3 to cut the lead to 3 with 42 seconds left. So we've seen this Mavs team blow leads before. We've seen them blow, I think it was a 26-point lead to the Hawks a couple years ago. And it was hard to feel good or confident at that point, and it kind of ruined whatever good vibes you might have even had up to that point, just kind of reminding you that our team is susceptible to meltdowns. So Rick put KP back in at that point with the lead down to 3. The Hawks did not foul because they didn't have to. Luka drives to the rim. He actually missed the layup, but KP had dove from the wing, and I thought Luka was going to hit him for a dunk, but he didn't. So Luka put up the layup. He actually missed it, and KP tipped it back in. And that tip-in ended up being the deciding basket, even though there was a little bit of fouling and whatnot that took place after that. But that ended up being the deciding basket. I just ran down the breakdown because I promised the pessimists that I wouldn't make any grand statements about this team until 5 games after Maxey's return. He did look a little better tonight, but we'll get into that a little later. Like I said, when you're up 15, 3:47, things look good, you feel good, and then, like I said, things fell apart, and that kind of erased all the positive feelings that I had up to that point. So, team keeping themselves and us humble as we prepare for these next games. It is a back-to-back, so there will be a game tomorrow. There will not be a podcast tomorrow since we're playing the Warriors tomorrow and on Saturday. I'll just do the double podcast thing and record the Warriors podcast after the second game. With that said, let's take a quick break. This was not the normal cold open, so quick break, and then we'll come back and get into who did what tonight. If you're a person that's interested in pop culture collectibles, Mondo has you covered. Mondo works with major artists and studios to forge beautifully designed, licensed products that navigate pop culture. It started with posters, then soundtrack LPs, and has blossomed into the ever-expanding hydra of art-forward entertainment collectibles. That's games, puzzles, apparel, and toys. If you're interested in purchasing or just browsing some Mondo merchandise, hit me up on Twitter or wherever, and I can get you a special link to check out their website. Also, Mondo is kind of paired with Alamo Drafthouse. And if you're not aware of Alamo Drafthouse is dinner, drinks, movies, and events all under one roof. Their attention to detail in film presentation and programming has made them a second home to movie fans all over the planet and earned accolades from the likes of Entertainment Weekly, who said that they were the #1 theater in America, Wired.com, who called them the coolest movie theater in the world, and Fandango.com, who called them one of the best theaters in the country. If you're interested in purchasing Alamo Drafthouse movie tickets or gift cards, again, hit me up. I can get you a link. And if you purchase through that link, it does me a solid. Alamo Drafthouse, again, is one of my favorite theaters out there. They are based out of Austin and have a ton of theaters across the state in Texas. Also have locations in other places, so if you're curious if they have a location near you, again, hit me up. I can get you a link and we can figure that out. And with that said, let's get back to the game. Hello and welcome back yet again to the Bibbs Corner podcast. I'm your host, as always, Mike Bibbins. You can find me on Twitter at Bibbs Corner. And like I said earlier, the Mavs are coming off a win, and it was an interesting game. It felt like the first time where I didn't feel like Luka was alone in a fourth quarter in a long time. I can't remember the last time I felt like that. The box score will reflect that to a certain degree, so let's get straight to it. Luka, of course, played the most minutes tonight. He played 38 minutes, 27 points, 8 boards, 14 assists, which means people were hitting shots, right? Or doing something after Luka passed the ball. 2 steals and a block. He was 8 for 20 from the field, so not a great shooting night from Luka. 1 of 5 from 3, 10 of 10 from the line, which is the most important thing to me. Get to the line, 10 shots, and then make them. That's all I want from him. If he does that, if he distributes the ball, then I know he had a good game. He did have an offensive rebound. I'm still tracking that just to kind of track effort, and you'll kind of see a theme as we continue throughout the box score here. So next on the minutes list is Jay Rich, who played 35 and a half minutes, 14 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 3 for 11 from the field, so shooting fell off dramatically in this one. 1 of 7 from 3, but he did get through the free throw line 8 times. Again, slashing Richardson much better than jump shooting Richardson, in my opinion. He got to the free throw line again, 8 shots, he made 7 of them. He also had 3 offensive rebounds, so fell back off on the shooting front, but was aggressive getting to the basket, played good defense, and was hustling, getting 3 offensive rebounds. Again, dial it back from 3. I really don't need to see you jacking a bunch of 3s if it's not your shot. But other than that, happy with what I saw from Jay Rich. Third was Porzingis, and it's great to see him climbing up that chart here. 34 and a half minutes from him. 24 points, 11 boards, 2 assists, and a steal, 10 for 20 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, and 3 of 3 from the line. He also had 3 offensive rebounds, obviously including that game-winning tip-in late in the fourth quarter. So probably KP's best game, quite honestly, and there were still tons of complaints about his performance, particularly defensively. But again, probably the best he's looked. He got a good dunk in this one on who did he dunk on? I don't even remember. He dunked on somebody. But again, this is the best he's looked. The question is, nobody's questioning his talent. The question is, how many times do we have to wait for him to ramp up during the season? So anyway, he appears to be very close to his full strength. So things should continue to improve going forward. We will see. And then we just have to hope he stays healthy long enough to either be traded or carry us down the stretch of the season. Moving forward. Oh, let me stop real quick. So the big three were all bad from three. Combined 3. How many did Luka take? I got to scroll back up. All right, a combined 3 for 18 from Luka, J. Rich, and KP, which is tragic. Again, jacking up threes when whatever. Jacking up threes is not a good thing. I don't enjoy it, especially when Luka's best shot is not a three-pointer. J. Rich's best shot is not a three-pointer. Porzingis, okay, he's going to take his 6. That's fine. Anyway, Maxey was back. It was back in the starting lineup. He played 32 minutes tonight, so I guess he did not have a minutes restriction this time. He did still look a little bit rusty in this game, but still had a good impact on it. 8 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. Added 2 people to the wall and added COVID-19 to the wall since he beat it. He was 3 for 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. Can't ask much more of him than that. And then he had an offensive rebound. Again, plugging the holes on defense. He was moving around, catching defensive lapses, and that's where his value comes in. As he gets back to his strength, we'll see him cover KP's lapses a little bit more. And then finally, the fifth starter was DFS, who played 29 minutes. He actually finished with 13 points, 5 boards, and a steal. He was 5 of 10 from the field and 3 of 7 from 3 with 3 offensive rebounds. He did miss some threes that were important, but overall, when you look at it, he did his job and a little bit more tonight. So, again, can't complain too much about DFS. Now let's go to the bench. Last game, if you recall, the Mavs went with a short bench, which was an interesting choice. It appears that Rick understands the seriousness of the situation and is actually trying to win games instead of play games. And again, kept the bench short, only played the guys he had to play. The first person on that list, of course, is Tim Hardaway Jr., who played 30 minutes off the bench, so fourth in minutes. He finished with 22 points and 4 boards. He was 8 for 15 from the field, 5 of 10 from 3. And then he made one of his 2 free throws. THJ had a THJ game with a couple more made shots than normal. Very hot streak during that time from the end of the third and into the fourth when Luka went out. And he had a cold stretch in the game as well. So you're going to get THJ, I call him a story of fire and ice, or a tale of fire and ice. I don't remember the tagline from Game of Thrones, but that's THJ. He's going to be hot. He's going to be cold. It's probably going to happen in the same game, or you're going to get a historically terrible game from him and a historically epic game from him. It is what it is. He can be a 6-man making 10 to 12 million off the bench. That's fine with me. Brunson, 24 minutes in this game, 12 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, and a steal, 5 of 8 from the field, 2 for 2 from the line, and he had an offensive rebound. Brunson, he was also a part of that stretch when Luka was out and we didn't collapse completely. So, like to see that from those two. Good for them and good for us. And then the third reserve who played real minutes was Willie Cauley-Stein as KP's primary backup. And he played 11 minutes, 2 points, 2 boards, an assist, and 2 blocks. One of those 2 rebounds was offensive, so nothing crazy from Willie Cauley-Stein. He came in, he did his job, he went to the bench. And Rick apparently has accepted that he is better than Dwight Powell, which everybody is glad to see, I would assume. Trey Burke played 5 minutes, did not do much of anything, had an assist and a steal. James Johnson came in for 46 seconds. So, again, an interesting game overall. Glad to get the W. Would have felt better about the game if we didn't almost blow the lead at the end and have to hang on for our lives, but it is what it is. Player of the game tonight is going to go to Porzingis, not only having his best game of the season, but then the game-winning tip. He did piss me off at one point, and I don't care if I saved it for the player of the game moment. He got the ball with Trae Young on him. First he hesitated, then he acted like he wanted to drive. Then he decided he wanted to shoot, and when he did, Trae Young hit him on the hand as he went up, and he was hurt by this and decided to yell at the ref. The play continued, so the Hawks are going back up the court. He's making zero effort to get back, and I guess he just realized at that point he better go ahead and get the tech just to stop the play. The refs let it go on to see what Atlanta was going to do, and then eventually gave him the tech. Completely pointless. We were up 10 at the time, but so it didn't really hurt us very much, but I didn't like the play. I saw a couple people say, I was glad to see him get fiery like that. You can get fiery and get your ass down the court. Like, if you can get mad without being a crybaby. That's the missing element for our boys, is they get mad and then they want to be a distraction instead of getting mad and channeling it into their game. Like, get mad, get back down the court, and send Trae's shot into the Middle Earth if you're upset. Like, don't get mad and yell at the ref, especially on Women in Sports Appreciation Day. You're yelling at a woman. Come on, man. Disrespectful. And that's a joke for those who are offended by PC culture and things of that nature. But congrats to KP, player of the game. Tweet of the night. I did not find a tweet of the night. Like I said, I stayed off the timeline, and I didn't even want to go back to check the timeline for fear that I might see a Luka Trae exchange. I've seen enough drama for my life lately. So that's that. I am going to introduce a new segment. I'm going to take a quick break and do this second ad, and then we're going to do news around the NBA. I'm going to pick 10 stories from the past day or two and run them down here on the pod. So let's get into that after this break. Hello, friends. With so many people cutting the cord, you may be looking for your next streaming option, and I have a couple for you. First is VidGo. VidGo is a live TV streaming service that includes live entertainment, lifestyle, news, and sports channels for about $40 a month. Right now, doing a special for $10 a month for the first 2 months. The service has locals from ABC and Fox, as well as entertainment channels like Disney, Discovery, sports channels like ESPN and Fox Sports, as well as NFL Network and NFL Red Zone. If you're interested in checking out VidGo, of course, hit me up for the link. I can definitely get that to you, and you can get set up today. If you want to browse the channels, you can do that right there on the site. Additionally, Philo is another streaming service. It's actually one that I use. They offer 60 plus top rated television channels, including MTV, BET, AMC, Discovery, Food Network, OWN, Lifetime, TV One, all for just $20 a month. Philo offers premium add-on channels, including Epics and Stars. They have live TV, unlimited DVR, on demand, and content from top programmers are available on web browsers. They have functionality with Roku, Fire TV, etc., all except the first-generation Chromecast devices. They also offer a 7-day free trial for new users. So again, if you want to check them out, hit me up for the link. That's VidGo and Philo. And Philo I use to kind of supplement because my mom cut the cord as well, so she uses some of the Lifetime, OWN Network, ID channel, stuff like that, and that's not on YouTube TV, which I also have. So Yeah, just to check out the TV lineups at least, hit me up. Again, I can get you the link. And with that said, let's move on to our parting thoughts. All right, folks, we are back here on the Bibs Corner podcast. And again, we're kicking off a new segment called News Around the NBA, where I give you 10 stories that stood out for me over the past day or two, whatever, however much time has passed since our last meeting here. So first one is the league reported 0 positive COVID tests for the first time since the beginning of January. 0 positive tests over the past week. Remember, they had the big outbreak the first week of January. I think 16 tests. There were 11 the following week, 1 last week, and now finally 0 positive tests. So hopefully it stays that way. We did have a game postponed the other day, but it was a inconclusive test that caused it, not a positive test. So that's a positive thing. Ironically, I guess that's a good thing. We don't want positive tests, so glad that we're down to 0 again. The Mavs sent Hinton and Bay down to Orlando to play in the G League bubble with the Long Island Nets. Fortunately, the NBA is trying to make G League content available, so you will be able to see some G League games on ESPN and ESPN2. I believe Twitch might still be streaming them. I'm not 100% sure on that. But the games will be available, so you can watch some of those. Definitely check out the G League, people. Like, it's good. It's good stuff, and especially the G League Ignite team with the top recruits down there. There's some exciting talent on the G League team, and I think the first game is the G League Ignite versus the Warriors G League team with Jeremy Lin, and that'll be on TV. So definitely looking forward to that. Again, Hinton and Bay are going to be playing with the Long Island Nets, so hopefully they get some good run down there and can actually break a sweat on the basketball court, which they haven't been able to do for some time. The Hornets were forced to start LaMelo Ball due to an injury to Terry Rozier. He started the past 2 games. Tonight, he had 22 points, 7 boards, 3 assists, and 2 steals on 8 for 16 shooting and 3 for 6 from 3 with 6 turnovers, but we won't discuss that. The Hornets did lose to the 76ers, but it was a good game. Yesterday, Fred VanVleet went off for 54 points. I think it was 11 for 14 from 3. He set the franchise record for most points and the most by an undrafted player in the NBA history, breaking Moses Malone's record. And that's kind of a technicality that he even had that record because he went to the ABA initially out of high school because that was not an option in the NBA at that time. The Warriors have lost Kevon Looney for a few weeks due to an injury, and with Looney hurt, I think Marquise Chris is on their team. I might have made that up. He got hurt early in the year. I don't recall. But and then Wiseman is also hurt right now. So the Warriors will be coming into these next 2 games against us tomorrow and Saturday with no centers. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Hopefully the Mavs don't get cute and try to match their smallness and instead try to beat them up because they are small. The Suns and Bucks are on their way to letting fans into arenas. They become the 10th and 11th team to do so as the league continues to expand, letting fans back into arenas, which went interestingly this week. I'm going to tack this story on to that story. LeBron got into it with a fan at the Hawks game the other day. Courtside Karen was cussing at LeBron. LeBron was cussing at courtside Karen. She got ejected, but the Hawks investigated and did not impose any bans on anyone. So that was interesting. The Heat have lost Myers Leonard for the season due to shoulder surgery. The Heat already going through it with injuries and COVID. They are getting their COVID guys back, but right now they are in a bad way in the East. So hopefully they can turn it around here. Myers wasn't getting a lot of playing time, even though guys were out with COVID, but he's been dealing with that shoulder. I guess they were trying to avoid the surgery, but it is now unavoidable. Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid were named the players of the month, and it's the first time two bigs were named player of the month since Dwight and Yao about 13 years ago. So that was interesting for me. The big man ain't dead, he just has an accent. After rumors and body language by Bradley Beal made it seem that he may be on his way out, a story came out saying that Bradley Beal not only is not interested in a trade, but he is also not pleased by the way that he is being portrayed in the media. He is still very committed to trying to win in Washington, and I say hats off to him. Things look to be trending in the right direction for them. They got a big win tonight. They're getting healthy. They got their COVID guys back, and Westbrook is still resting here and there. I think he rested tonight. Ish Smith got the start. But again, they were able to win. So I predicted them to get into the playoffs. I need them to go ahead and make that happen for your boy. And then finally, our own Josh Green was named to the Australian national team shortlist. Some people think he has a good chance at actually making the final roster because of his defensive prowess and the fact that they may want to bring one of their young guys up to the team who they expect to be there in the future. So that should be interesting to keep an eye on. And that is it for the news of the day. I like that, actually. I think I'm going to keeping that in here. And then finally, let's get to our parting thought and or question of the night. After tonight, I kind of realized that all the goodwill that was built up in the offseason and the preseason and all the good feelings and vibes that we had coming into the year, they're gone. And we're living night to night, minute to minute with this team. And until they get right, until they prove to us that who they are, because, I mean, we still don't know who they are. We still aren't 100% sure what they're going to put on the court every night. Again, it does look like Rick might have some sense now with his lineups, keeping some consistency, keeping the bench tight, trying to get back above 500, trying to get back into the playoff hunt. But we'll see if that continues. With that said, we need a winning streak. We need a winning streak not only for the team and the players' confidence, but to heal the fan base, because there's so much fighting and argument all over the timeline all day. It's gotten draining. I spend way too much time on Twitter as it is, so not wanting to deal with that has helped me stay off of Twitter. Yeah, losing, it brings out the worst in people, so I've done my best to avoid that. I'm not going to argue with people. I don't have the energy. Got too much shit to do. But seeing people I actually like argue with each other is kind of rough. It is what it is. But some W's will be good for everybody is all I have to say there. And that's really all I have to say for tonight. I will, again, catch you guys after the second Warriors game. I will not be doing one tomorrow night unless something ridiculous happens that I need to cover. But other than that, peace.